In today's video, we're diving into a genre that can drive even the most experienced gamers to their limits: puzzle games. But these aren't just any puzzles. These are the brain-bending, mind-melting challenges that will leave you scratching your head for hours. We're talking about the kinds of games that throw out the rulebook and force you to think outside every box you've ever known. If you're ready to test your mental stamina and see just how far you can push your puzzle-solving skills, then buckle up as we count down the 10 hardest puzzle games out there.
Wait! Don't shoot! I have treasure! I yield!
Hold your fire!
This game is a whole different kind of puzzle. You're a detective on an abandoned ship, piecing together how everyone met their fate. You have this pocket watch that lets you see the exact moment someone died, and from there, it's like piecing together a giant logic puzzle. The detail in each scene is insane. You have to really pay attention to catch the smallest clues. It's incredibly immersive, and honestly, it makes you feel like a real investigator. And by the end, you feel like you've lived through this intense story alongside the crew. Deadly Rooms of Death is a game that keeps you humble. It's an old-school brain breaker that throws you into a grid-based dungeon with one goal: survival. But the catch is that every move you make, the enemies mirror in response. With every room designed like a complex chess puzzle, you'll find yourself redoing a room over and over, trying to map out the right sequence of moves. And when you do finally conquer a room, it feels like you've cracked some sort of code. Baba Is You is just wild. The rules of the game are literally in the game, and you can change them. At first it's simple, move blocks around to solve a puzzle, but it escalates so fast. You're rewriting the logic on the fly, and it gets to the point where you're wondering if you even know what the word win means anymore. It's so satisfying, but also so frustrating, because sometimes the solution is so obvious your brain just can't see it.
That device was not in the simulation.
The Talos Principle 2 takes everything that made the original challenging and amps it up to a whole new level. You'll find yourself navigating sprawling environments filled with complex puzzles that require both logical thinking and spatial awareness. One moment, you're using lasers to unlock doors, and the next you're manipulating time itself. It's got this philosophical layer that adds depth, making you question everything you're doing. But solving these puzzles feels incredible, especially when you've been stuck on them for hours and then it just clicks. It's like every piece just snaps into place, and it's totally worth the mental workout. You might think that Snakebird is a calming puzzle game with cute graphics, but the game makes sure that you regret that. You're guiding these snake-like birds through tiny spaces, and just when you think you've got it figured out, the game throws in a twist that'll make you rethink everything. It's one of those games where each level feels like a huge accomplishment, and while it can be maddening, it's also one of the most satisfying puzzle games I've played. The Witness feels absolutely amazing to explore, but that's only visually. The puzzles are painful. It's all about line puzzles, but every area has a different twist. One section will have you observing shadows, another will have you listening to sounds. It just keeps evolving. I remember being stuck for hours trying to figure out one of the environmental puzzles, but when it finally clicked, it felt like a huge breakthrough. It's a game that makes sure to reward your patience and persistence. La Mulana doesn't just want you to solve puzzles, it wants you to test your own patience and endurance. It's like a blend of Indiana Jones and Dark Souls, with puzzles so cryptic, it's almost like the game wants you to suffer. You'll be navigating ancient ruins, deciphering hidden clues and dodging traps all at once. Honestly, it feels like every discovery you make in this game is a victory. And while it can be overwhelming at times, that sense of mystery and exploration makes each breakthrough incredibly rewarding. Braid is one of those games that seems simple at first, but wow, it gets intense fast. It's all about controlling time, but not in the usual sense. Every level introduces a new twist on how time flows, and it forces you to think about cause and effect in ways you probably never have. I remember being completely stumped on some of these levels, but when you finally figure it out, it's a huge of course moment. And the story, it's almost like a puzzle in itself, slowly revealing itself as you progress. It's challenging but beautifully rewarding if you stick with it. Infinifactory is like a cross between a puzzle game and a factory simulator, and it can be seriously tricky. You're building these complex assembly lines for alien overlords, and each puzzle gets more complicated as new pieces and rules get introduced. It's all about efficiency, and sometimes you'll have to go back and completely rework your design. It's a game that challenges you to think logically and creatively, and solving each puzzle feels like engineering a small miracle. Steven's Sausage Roll is a puzzle game that's easy to overlook, but impossible to put down once you start. It's got this silly premise, grilling sausages on a grid, but don't let that fool you. It's brutal. Every level is meticulously designed to force you into situations where one wrong move can ruin the whole thing. You'll have to spend hours on one level, but you'll eventually realize how amazingly satisfying something as simple as a grilled sausage can be when you finally get it. And that was my list of 10 hardest puzzle games, each ready to put your brain to the ultimate test. These games aren't about fooling around to get things right. They're about pushing yourself to think in ways you didn't even know you could. Whether you're mastering time manipulation, deciphering mysteries, or rethinking the basic rules of a game, each of these titles brings a unique kind of challenge. Let me know in the comments which puzzle game has stumped you the most, or if there's one that deserves a spot on this list. Thanks for watching, and if you're up for more gaming challenges, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the bell so you don't miss any future videos. See you next time.